All right, people, welcome to another episode of Natty News Daily. We've got a special guest on, as you can see, a new face added to the roster here. So, Tanner, welcome to the podcast / whatever we want to call these moving forward.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you on. So, I guess for those that maybe don't know you, for myself, I guess up until a couple weeks ago, I didn't know you. Give us a brief breakdown of who you are, how long you've been bodybuilding, and all that good stuff.
For sure. So my name is Tanner. Obviously, I am from San Antonio, Texas. I have lived in Texas pretty much my whole life. I played college football at Southwestern, the D3 right outside of Austin, Texas. After I graduated from college, I dabbled in powerlifting a little bit. I won a couple of powerlifting meets, and I just decided I wanted to try bodybuilding. I've only been bodybuilding for maybe like a year and a half now. I just recently got into it, but I love it. Out of everything that I've done as far as training, it's definitely the most fun, I think.
When you look at your powerlifting to now bodybuilding, what do you find more enjoyable about bodybuilding?
I really like the structure of bodybuilding and the way that I'm able to train. Because when I was powerlifting, I was still in that kind of football mindset where you're just like go into the gym, put as much weight on the bar as you can, and just move it. But bodybuilding is a lot more structured. It's a lot more progressive, and it's easier on my body after playing a contact sport for so long, and then powerlifting. My joints are kind of breaking down. I'm 25, but I feel like I'm 45.
Yeah, I can echo that because I've dabbled in powerlifting as well, kind of in between bodybuilding seasons and stuff, and you kind of get fixated on one thing, and it's just more weight on the bar.
Right.
Whereas bodybuilding, there's 10 other things you can focus on and get better at and improve on, right? So I can see what you mean about that side of the game being a little bit more fun for sure.
Now, have you been with Jared the whole time you've been bodybuilding, or was that something that came along recently?
No. So as long as I have been bodybuilding through all three shows that I've done, I was with Jared.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find those guys?
I actually met Jared at World Gym here in San Antonio. I was working out, and I met him at the gym. We initially started talking about Dragon Ball Z, I think, because I was wearing a shirt like that, and he commented on it, and then I just started talking to him, and we just kind of clicked, and I started working with him when I decided to move away from powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the biggest things you've kind of picked up from Jared in the time you've been working with him?
Oh man, I picked up so much stuff from Jared because I was very much just bro training when I met him. So just the whole emphasis on progressive overload and using reps in reserve, a lot of stuff as far as diet aspects are concerned. I've learned a ton of stuff from Jared and from RP, and like I do reading and research and stuff on my own as well, to try and better myself. But yeah,
I've noticed your movement execution has has changed quite a bit since I've watched a few of your videos back when you used to powerlift and whatnot, but your movement execution is definitely, I don't want to say gotten better, but because obviously before it was used for different purposes, but from a bodybuilding perspective has improved dramatically.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest adjustments that I had to make when I started bodybuilding was my squat. Changing I completely restructured like the mechanics of my squat, going from a low bar, powerlifting type squat, wider stance, just breaking parallel, to focusing on high bar, full range of motion. It completely changed because when I was powerlifting, I was a 600 plus squatter, and so coming into bodybuilding, I had to basically cut that weight in half as I was retooling my squat. So that was a big adjustment for me.
You have to
it's helped
like how you pressed as well, because probably bench press you would have really done a lot of different things as well just to move the weight in powerlifting.
Bench press actually was not as bad because I was so even when I was powerlifting, I was so focused on control. So bench press wasn't as bad, and I actually didn't do a whole lot of barbell bench press. I mean, occasionally it would be added into my mesocycles, but I didn't do a whole lot of straight barbell bench press for bodybuilding.
Coming from powerlifting, were there any areas on your physique that needed, a little bit more attention to kind of bring up to par with other areas from doing the big three so much?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm really hard on myself, so I think it to be better. But I definitely my shoulders were a weak point that I'm still trying to work on. Actually, my upper back as well has grown quite a bit since I started bodybuilding. That was a part that we focused on. But just getting everything to catch up with my legs, really, because I just have really big legs, and so get my upper body to kind of catch up.
You might already have some of the nastiest hamstrings on the pro circuit.
I appreciate it. I mean, I guess it's just genetics. I don't know. Maybe it's from
it's a lot of poundage move, man.
Yeah. And like even trying to bring up my quads so that they're not overpowered by my hamstrings was a focus. Sure.
So the big recent event for you is becoming an IPE Pro. So talk a little bit about that process, that day. I'll see if I can go on your Instagram, pull up some photos.
I watched a little bit of the stream that you had on your page, and I was just like, it's not even close, man. Like the other guys look pretty good too, and it was just like, yeah, you're just, yeah.
I appreciate it.
I messaged on that. I said, yeah, and he said, yeah, it's basically a fight for second at this point. So. Yeah, your posing routine was great too. I watched that. I watched the one that you posted on your page as well. I was impressed with that.
Thank you. I put a lot of time into that, which I don't know. I just take pride in that because I know it's not like factored into the scorecards, but I just enjoy the whole posing routine.
It's your best time to like truly express yourself. I love the posing aspect of it. I mean, I won a couple best posers, but it's just like, the mandatories are the mandatories, but when you're up there doing that, you can add so much different flair that just shows off like who you are and what your physique really is. And some of like for the more, just egotistical side of things, like some of the best photos, if you get the pro photos, come from the posing routines because you can do all those extra things.
Mm-hmm. Well, and sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you did the pose where you kind of almost do like a half split and a front double. I don't know if there's a name for it. That one looks good. Look great on you.
Yeah, Dylan
It's
was
obviously
saying,
not a mandatory.
no.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dylan was saying that's like the archer pose that during that routine. But and Dylan was he's also an IPE Pro. He got his pro card like 2 years ago at the same show, actually. And he was a huge help during this whole prep. Because he was there with me, helping me pose like the days before the show, and helping me out backstage, and Dylan was a huge help.
Having someone backstage is definitely definitely huge if you can have somebody, especially somebody that has a good eye.
Right.
Yeah,
Just take the stress off.
So how much pressure did you feel wearing those trunks? And for those that are listening that don't know the story, maybe tell the story of those the trunks there.
So those trunks have been kind of passed down. I think there's been 5 different people that have worn them, and every person that has worn the trunks has won the show. I think Jared wore them when he won his natural pro card. Dylan wore them. I wore them. I don't remember who the other 2 were, but those trunks have never seen defeat.
That's cool.
And it's kind of a cool little tradition. I don't know that I felt pressure. I actually feel like it took some of the pressure off of me wearing those trunks. Like I could feel the power,
The torch being passed.
Yeah. Like
because you posted the photo, I think, the day before, right?
Yeah,
with Dylan. Yeah.
Now, are those yours by right to pass on? Is that how the rule goes, or what? What's that?
I don't think I will make that decision. I think that'll be up to Jared, who wears them next.
So he must have shipped them to you, huh?
No.
Or did
Dylan had them?
Dylan had them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, because Dylan did an NPC show in Vegas not too long ago, so he was there with Jared. He stayed there.
That's right. He did do that NPC show. I forgot he was out that way with Jared.
Yeah, so Jared gave him the trunks, and then he gave the trunks to me.
Gotcha.
Is a tradition to not wash them either, or is that not part of it?
As far as I know, they were clean. But I just took his word for it.
Yeah, for sure. So here you are now, 25 years old, IPE Pro. Now what?
So the next step, or the next thing on my agenda, is actually, I think I'm gonna do an NPC show, and try and qualify for nationals in the NPC. See how I fare. So that's
is Dylan qualified now too? Since he won his class, right?
He is, and I don't know.
So you kind of thinking about that if you can qualify and you two can go head to head.
I think.
Or what's his timeline look?
Dylan actually prepping right now for his national show. I think he's going to do junior nationals, if I remember correctly. So hopefully he does well in that. It's coming up here pretty soon, but yeah, we wouldn't compete against each other. We had talked about trying to qualify for Worlds and compete at Worlds, IPE Worlds. But I think we're both right now trying to see how we stack up in the NPC just to see how we do.
You have aspirations to kind of follow Jared's path and, you know, do your time naturally and then potentially jump?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason that I initially went with Jared too, was because I wanted to follow that path, like become a natural pro and improve myself in that, right, and then kind of transition into NPC and hopefully IFBB. But that was part of the reason why I decided to go with Jared, because I was also thinking about there's an IFBB pro out here, John Jewett, that I was also thinking about. Yeah, great guy, super nice guy. Him and
at least I follow him on Instagram, and he seems down to earth, but his posts are great too. Very insightful.
I've only met him a couple times working out at the gym here that he trains out of. But super nice guy, super knowledgeable. And I was originally thinking about, it was kind of between him and Jared, and I decided to go with Jared because of his expertise and I guess experience in the Natty realm. And it ended up being a good decision, so no regrets.
Did you think that this would all happen so soon?
I hoped. It was kind of when I first started bodybuilding and I first kind of got into it, I didn't really know what to expect. And like I said, I'm pretty hard on myself usually, so I didn't think that I would get this far this fast. I thought I still had a lot more work to do. But I mean, I'm glad that it happened as quickly as it did. It gives me more time to kind of accomplish more things and go to different aspects, go through different aspects of bodybuilding, like trying to do NPC, and then just being able to accomplish things so quickly is super cool.
Yeah, for sure. When you competed, you know, won the pro card and stuff like that, what was, I guess, feedback, or, you know, whether it's from judges or Jared, you know, what needs to be better, what needs to improve? What was feedback on that side of things?
I mean, mostly people were just telling me how ridiculous my legs looked. That was the main feedback I got from that show. I mean, there's always stuff that you can work on and do better. Like I said, I still need to work on my back a little bit more and my shoulders. But I mean, all of the feedback and the response from the show was really positive. Even the promoters of the Southern States Classic, after the show, when I was doing my drug test, they were telling me that I needed to compete in a pro show before the end of the year because I was ready for the pro stage. So that was really, really cool to hear, coming from people who have been in the circuit and have seen some really impressive natural pros.
For sure. Yeah, coming from friends and family doesn't hold as much weight, right? But when it comes to, you know, people within the sport, whether it be top judges, promoters, pro athletes, you know what I mean? When they say, like, hey kid, you got something here, that weighs so much more, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was a big thing for me. Made me feel like maybe I can compete at that level. But
yeah, it gives
I think you've got a good team too. Like, Jared doesn't strike me as the kind of person that's going to push you into a show that you're not ready for. So I feel like, you know, he's he's going to make sure when you do step on stage as a pro or your next NPC or whatever, that you're truly ready for it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you've definitely got the, you know, you're well equipped to do well and look definitely in place on a pro stage, and I think be very competitive. Honestly, I really do. So, but I understand it's like, it's still kind of like a, am I good enough? Because like, I mean, I'm pro qualified in the OCB, and I'm like, man, like I'm dipping my toes into deeper waters, you know. So it's
Like it's a whole different league,
yeah.
literally. But
Yeah, you know, being
sorry.
like being as young as you are, right? A lot of pros are well into their 30s and 40s a lot of the time, right? So you go in not only with little experience, but you're also the young guy in town, so you have that little bit of like, you know, I don't know if I belong here.
Right. It's definitely like intimidating.
Yeah.
People have been doing this stuff for a long time, and they've been perfecting their craft. So it's a little intimidating, and but I love a challenge.
So that pressure at the end of the day is in a lot of ways a good thing. So it'll bring the best out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Where can people find you, man? They want to follow along your journey. Is Instagram kind of the primary thing right now? Or are you on YouTube or anything like that?
Right now, pretty much just Instagram. I'm actually not a super huge like social media presence. I'm trying to work on it a little bit more, but yeah, for the most part, it's pretty much just Instagram. I'm definitely gonna try and do a vlog this prep leading up to my pro win, my pro card win. I have a lot of footage and stuff, so that might be my first venture into YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, right now it's pretty much just my Instagram. As far as bodybuilding and stuff like that.
Cool. All right, man. Do you guys have any last questions for the guy before we let him finish his meal there?
No, just excited to watch the rest of the year, you know, and everything going forward.
I appreciate it.
I am too.
I think we all unanimously support you on your continued bodybuilding ventures.
Thank you all so much.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you for coming on. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let us know, and we'll get Tanner on again when he makes his next appearance on stage, and we'll chat about how that thing goes. Follow him on Instagram. It'll be linked down below. Obviously, all our stuff is linked down there as well. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Natty_news_daily. And we'll see you guys in the next one.